Thanks.
Hi, my name is Johnny Campbell. Again, I'm the delivery manager for BT Ireland Innovation Centre. Today with us we have Oris. Oris is the IoT lead and the research manager as a BT colleague in the BT end. We have Brendan with us. So Brendan is our KTP, studying for his PhD at Ulster University, our collaborative partner. And we have Stephen, who is a senior engineer working in the 5G innovations team. The team that we see as the engineering downstreaming heft associated with Janet's project. So we will, in the interest of time, we'll kick off. Oris, at the heart of what you do, it's all about scalable architectures and how to manage the complexities associated with that. Can you tell us a wee bit more about the project itself?
Yeah, so we've had BTIIC chapter 1, let's call it, for 5 years now, and in there the major piece of the research is all about IoT. IoT is really at the heart of this, is wiring up or deploy smart devices in an environment you want to monitor, get the data, and start doing smart things with this data, drive intelligent decision making, etc. So more insights. In BTIIC, what we've focused on is trying to see areas where BT can have a competitive advantage in this space, work above and beyond just connectivity, and sit next to hyperscalers quite competitively. Therefore, we focused on certain areas in IoT. To name a few, zero touch of board. If I say ZTO, I'm sure 60-70% will raise their hand. They know what that is. We've branded it very strongly. It's a unique area. Video analytics, and specifically for privacy cases or health monitoring cases, like video anonymization is one other big area that Ben has been very involved in. And going forward, we want to expand on that. We want to look at how to manage these infrastructures more automatically with removing human intervention and doing things a bit more autonomously, engaging AI, machine learning, deep learning, all the stuff that Detlef talked about, for environments like what Janet talked about. The fact that we actually were involved with requirements from the customer, Belfast Harbour in this particular instance, it was the differentiator, the way we worked. So let's keep it as a summary. That level.
So I was actually just going to stop you there because I was going to ask about, I was going to ask for your thoughts about BTIIC as a model in Belfast. You've worked on IoT and BT for a bit. You've worked in different teams. What makes BTIIC in Belfast different? How is it more beneficial to the whole technology transfer process?
It's major difference really, because in BTIIC the experience is around experience. It's a research journey experience which is quite involving different facets, different dimensions. Where we in BT research we're working close to stakeholders in BT. We never had the chance to actually go speak to the customer as freely. Currently here, we have customer engagement, customer-facing teams. So for talking to them, we're driving the work from customer requirements and provide realism to our research. At the same side, on the other side, we're speaking to universities, and usually with Tim Whittle's model 30-30-30, which is short-term, medium-term, longer-term. The last third was actually assigned to universities, so it was blue sky research. Anything we wanted to look at, like 5 years out, kind of research is what we were doing with universities now. We engage Ulster University for particular, real life problems. So that is really good value driven out of university. Yeah. We work with engineering, the other partner here, which allows us to actually work our solutions and POCs, proof of concepts, higher the TRL level for technology readiness. And finally, we engage with partners like AWS, who in the next phase want to be stronger engaged with, because we won't actually take for granted what exists out there. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. So we want to get these platforms that do it in a productized manner, IoT Core, all these capabilities, provide us an enabling platform and streamline a pipeline of innovation on top, and just focus on the innovation whilst we engage what exists out there, mature technology from them. So BTIIC provides us all this rounded experience, end-to-end journeys, and value and success for all partners involved. Really, that's the experience we got from this first chapter.
So you mentioned university and engineering there. So I'll come to you, Brendan, first. Brendan's our KTP, so we're a knowledge transfer partner, working toward his PhD, but working in BT as well in the BTIIC program. So, I mean, Brendan, yeah, you're studying at Ulster. Ulster's a collaborative partner. So, you're working hand in glove with the research fellows already here on the project. How do you feel it's beneficial, this kind of collaborative approach, to your work, to your studies?
So in terms of my studies, I think it's given me a greater expansion of my skill sets. Yeah. So it's been able to give me a unique perspective on the experience from both the Ulster University staff and the BT staff. And I think that synergy is really important between Ulster University's creative, innovative work, along with the downstreaming expertise provided by people such as Stephen. And we're able to then create a truly unique platform for the customer, which defines them in a very competitive market. Yeah.
And Stephen, the downstreaming heft. You're an experienced engineer, and the 5G innovations team does a lot for BTIIC, a lot for other things as well. How do you successfully kind of balance the downstreaming of the innovation layer, the value adds, as well as the customer requirements? Like, how do you balance that work?
Yeah, well, we sit in a really nice position. I'm part of a small dev team who are primarily focused on the engineering, on cloud-based engineering. We come from a background of working across multiple solutions and products in BT. So where we are, we're almost kind of in between the problems and the solutions. We have people like yourselves coming to us with solutions. In fact, it's unusual in engineering. Typically, you get given a problem and you come up with a solution to that problem, whereas we're almost getting approached back to front, where we've got this fantastic solution, be it a video anonymization platform, be it some kind of massive bandwidth availability delivered via 5G, and we're almost trying to go out and find the problems that we can pair up to that. Because we are such a small team, another part of our role would be speaking directly with the end customer. If we use Belfast Harbour as a shining example, I'd regularly be in contact with people within the harbour, with their development managers, with their port operations managers, and it would be proper agile methodologies of trying to capture requirements, doing interview sessions, delivering a prototype in a very short space of time, and then gathering feedback on that directly from the customer. And during that iterative process, we can come up with a better use or the best use of the solution that's coming from the other side. And we really do, you use the term IoT matrix, and we are that matrix point where we can point it in one direction and apply it to a real engineering output.
Yeah. And it is the whole model is a novel way, a way of working. It was novel in Belfast anyway 5 years ago. I'll jump back to you, Brendan. What made you want to get involved with this particular project? How is it contributing to your PhD? Are you able to relate? Are you able to relate back your PhD to this project? And is the industrial-led research approach with the KTP process helping?
Well, one of the reasons why I chose this project in particular to go for is because I've always been fascinated with IoT platforms, and that unification between devices and people, and then being able to leverage that with other devices in order to strengthen the platform even further, in order, once again, synergy between multiple platforms. So one of the platforms that we actually work with is us Zero Touch Onboarding, along with the video anonymization. And while the two do just different things, we can use the onboarding feature of ZTO to strengthen video anonymization, so the harbour can anonymize thousands of cameras per se through the ZTO platform. And even though this doesn't directly relate to my PhD, the knowledge set which I have learned through this has been beneficial to give me additional perspectives on my current work, which has then further strengthened my skill set and has helped deliver my research output.
Okay, I'm going to jump back to you, Stephen. So what's the main attraction to this way of working? I.e., as you mentioned, closely with both internal and external innovation partners on the project in Belfast. How does it add value to your work? And after hearing Janet speak just now about the opportunities for smart cities in Belfast, as we move on to the next phase over the next couple of years, how do you see the way of working, in your own way of working, and the BTIC model way of working? How in your head do you see that evolving over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking on behalf of the whole team here, but the area of work, from a purely selfish point of view, is really, really interesting stuff. It's cutting edge technology. It's stuff that you can see applied. You can look out your office window and see the fruits of it, really. As Janet touched on a number of things we're working on. That includes the Belfast Harbour community app, which is now available live through the Belfast Harbour website on a trial basis. That was something that, prior to working in this space, we could never have imagined something as diverse. Just from every aspect, from the ability to deploy to our digital cloud platform on AWS, working with all these new sensors, the smart analytics that are available via the Bosch cameras. It's all really fascinating engineering, and it's beneficial to the end customer. You said about the evolution with BTIC. When we started in this, we were aware you guys existed, but we weren't talking nearly enough. It can be argued we still aren't.
Well, absolutely,
And that's where the evolution is continuing. As an agile team, we're constantly seeking to find new ways to improve, to increase our efficiencies, and some of that is regular touch points with yourselves. I said requirements capture with the customer. Requirements capture goes both ways. It's trying to work out where are you with the innovation streams. What is the latest on projects you're looking at, and how can we include that? How can we bake that into the offerings that are going back to the customer, and how can we tie that all up together and ultimately provide a better and more relevant solution to the customer? And again, bringing it back to a selfish point of view, how can BT sell more network connectivity services off the back of the success that we've had with previous deliverables?
Yeah. And it's funny, just you made a comment there about how you knew the BTIC existed, but we weren't talking nearly enough. And I think we'll all agree that BT is such a big beast. There's so many good things happening around the company, and it's the challenge is bringing it together. And I suppose that's probably one of our biggest achievements, is that creating our own wee ecosystem here in Belfast. So, sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's like you said, it takes a bit of time for these things to gather momentum, that they become cemented in your mind as, I should speak to BTIC.
Yep.
That would be a great thing to involve them on, and it has taken that first kind of year or two.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was that small blip between 2020 and whenever you choose the end of it, but it did things took a bit longer perhaps than they should have to get up to the operating temperature that they're now at.
Yeah, and that's where in my head, that's where I see BTIC going, as the front door, for innovation in Belfast. Just conscious of time, Oris, I think I'll give you the same question and we'll end on that. So, what attracts you to this way of working? Your internal and external innovation partners. What's the evolution look like? Where do we go from here?
I wanted to think. I spent a few minutes yesterday to think a little phrase. We grow faster and we grow better if we grow together. So really, it means we were talking about ecosystems here. You can't just go. We used to work in isolation. So engineering is working on customer requirements. Research is working in isolation to satisfy some stakeholder programs. Whereas with BTIC, I guess, we're looking for these end-to-end experiences for the customer. So we engage with the customer, bring the requirement. We do some proof of concepts, take them to engineering. We need to work with engineering to get them work with us as well, because I know they're working strictly on customer requirements. Yeah. But if we're going to do this together, we need to break that boundary, or raise that boundary, actually, through the way, and get some, direct flexibility to work with us. So we have some more options to develop our engineer, our concepts a bit higher, the TRL scale, engage the university, teach the right skills through the academy.
Yep.
We don't just want scientists, we want scientists for a purpose, so we're talking about purposeful innovation with a mission. So drive all that so that eventually we can drive success and value for all the partners. So going forward, this is exactly what I'll see my role actually helping that process more than just IoT. Specifically for IoT, the next steps is really to try and focus more on sustainability. So we want to develop these autonomous capabilities. So look at AI, machine learning, deep learning, so we can remove the human management, the human intervention, and make that more self-X, where X is self-configured, self-serviced IoT. So moving forward, we want to economize on resources, economize on spend, and energy, really. So with Belfast Harbour on board and other customers that Janet brings along, an opportunity to talk to them directly, I think this is definitely, a destined for success.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Oris. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Brendan. And thanks for joining us today for the Tech Talks.
That's it from our Tech Talks and so on. The demos are going to go on in all the rooms for another little while. So if you missed one, please go back and have a look before the end of today. But just want to thank you all for coming and listening to us and being part of our conversation as we shape the future. So thank you very much, everybody. And we hope to see you again next year at the next one.